this computer. So we're back, and today we are going to talk about what does it mean to leave a legacy to you? What would you define that, and what do you think that looks like, and what is your hope for future generations?
Wow. Well, a legacy to me would be that something that I've done is important enough to pass along, and that will be remembered by future generations. Um, Maybe it's some of the work I've done, or um, that's probably the main thing. But um, who I've been as a person, I guess. And I've always thought I'd like to be at my own funeral just to see if if people show up for one thing, but to hear what anybody might have to say. I don't know if that'll happen or not. I might be there in spirit, but um, yeah, I would just my legacy. I would hope would be that I would be fondly remembered. It sounds like the girls are here. Um, yeah, I think that's it.
I can hear the dog. Do
So can I.
you have any favorite quotes or any inspirations that go along with that, like legacy thought?
Well, years ago, I remember having this one quote that I kind of used, and it was, "It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice." And that stuck with me for a long time. Another one is, "It can be done." I still have that little quote on my down in the garage on my work area, and it just influences me every now and again. It can be done, whatever that may be. It can be done. And what's interesting is that recently I was watching um, an interview with some politician. I don't even remember the politician. What I remember though was in his background, because they were doing like we are. And behind him on the shelf, he had a little sign that says, "It can be done." And I thought, how cool, because I've had that for 50, 60 years.
Do you know where you got it from?
No, no, I ought to look at it and see if there's something on the other side that might give me an idea. But it's just a small card. It's not big at all.
I
Um,
remember as a kid in our house on Semondale seeing something that you hung in the stairway to the basement. Coming up the basement, you could see it, and it said, "The mind is a terrible thing to waste."
ah,
And I know that had a lot to do with like the drug enforcement and stuff like that. And it goes with that commercial that used to be a common thing where they showed the eggs on a frying pan.
yeah, yeah,
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was a good one.
Mhm.
Um, I don't remember that. I remember the saying, but I don't know. Can you see those little things that pop up? Oh, good, because they keep popping up. And that one said, "Motion at the front door."
Oh, notifications?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't see anything.
Okay.
So
Um,
if you were
that-
talking to Lizzie and if you knew that she was communicating and she could talk back and have a conversation, even if it was in toddler language or enough, maybe kindergarten, let's just say kindergarten. If you were telling Lizzie on her first day of kindergarten how to prepare and what to expect. Like, you know what? Sometimes kids don't share. And this is how you can treat other kids. What would you say?
Enjoy your nap, because they have nap with crackers and milk. Um, yeah, just be nice to those who are nice to you and those who aren't nice as well. And try to influence them rather than be influenced by them.
Kindness goes a long way.
Learn and continue to learn. And you learn all your life. I'm still learning stuff.
Yeah. Yep. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I don't believe that.
No, no.
What have you learned lately, Dad?
Um, how to resolve the flood problem in my basement.
Did you call out
Realize
the
that yeah, because I didn't know that on our sump or on our pump that we have that the PVC was threaded in. I wasn't exactly sure how it connected, but I didn't know that it was threaded in until I pulled the whole thing out. And um, but that's just a little thing. I learned how to put in an EGC valve on my Malibu.
What's an EGC valve?
It's it's part of the emissions control stuff, exhaust gas, EGR, I guess it is. The exhaust gas recirculator or something. But anyhow, it went bad. And so we were getting a check engine light all the time. And I stopped at O'Reilly's and got it analyzed. And that's when they told me it could be this, or this. Well, I'd already replaced the gas cap once.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the possible issues. And so the other two I didn't think could be it, but the main one would have been the EGR valve.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned how to put that in through YouTube, of course.
Yes, YouTube University is pretty good.
Yeah, I love it. What else did I learn recently? I just found out that there's been a game called Candlepins. Have you heard of that?
No.
Been around for years, like, I don't know, 50 or more years. And it's just like bowling. And the ball is about the size of a bocce ball, the one that
Really?
yeah. So like a croquet ball.
Okay.
And it's a regular lane, and they've got these pins. They're called candle pins because they're real narrow, about the same heights maybe, but very narrow. And you get 3 tries to knock them all down. And I don't know how the scoring works because it's a little different, probably because you get 3 tries. I do know they have strikes and spares, but it's different.
Do you
And they've
play it
been
at the
doing
bowling alley or do you play it out on your lawn?
it's at a bowling alley.
So have you played?
No, nope. I've just seen it on YouTube,
Okay.
and it was televised. It was a thing that there were professional candle pin holders. And here I've been around here all these years and just found out that
Do the bowling pins look like a regular bowling pin or are they shaped differently?
they're shaped differently. They're they're tall and thin. They are kind of narrow at the base, and they come up like to the middle. They gradually come up to the middle, and then they go back up to a narrow top.
Okay.
if that makes sense.
I have to look this up. I bet you it's something you could play um in your yard.
Maybe if the surface was flat enough, because it might be kind of hard to stand them up. But yeah, you could probably create some long alley thing and
Mm-hmm.
do that.
So how do you spell it? Just like it sounds, Candlepin bowling?
It's well, it's only faster. They throw it like you're pitching a softball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Here we go. I think this might be it. No, these are actual candles that look like bowling. They're candles.
No, that isn't it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think we can find them on Amazon. Anyways, okay, so that's interesting. We'll have to look into that. I was curious though, because we have bocce ball and croquet now that we play out in the yard. And so I thought, well, maybe there's a way for us to
Incorporate that
in-
too.
yeah, and like make our own version of a yard game with that same like whole all the rules and everything with what we have. Or maybe we have to get the pins, but we have balls that would work or something. So we're always looking to add outside games. Might be fun.
Hmm. Um, well, I'm sure there's been a ton of stuff I've learned in the last week, but I just can't remember what they are now.
Do you have a quote from your parents or either one of your parents, both of your parents that stuck with you throughout your life? Something that they would say, like, for example, I remember mom saying, locks are for honest people. And that's not her own saying, but like that was something I heard her say a lot. So do you remember your parents having something that kind of stuck with you?
No, but I think my dad used to say that too, that locks are just to keep honest people out.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes you can hear your parents in your head. You can hear their voices, like your conscience sitting on your shoulder. So I just thought maybe you had something that you kind of carried through your life.
um, no, I don't think so, but maybe it'll come to me. And um, I know my dad used to call me Charlie, kind of like Charlie, but it was Charlie.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. It's just something he made up, I guess.
So he was
And
saying
what's
it with an
interesting,
accent.
yeah, what's interesting though, I found out this recently from my brother Jim, um, that I was how did he put it? I was like the golden boy to my dad. And I never thought that. I thought I was anything but that. But I was the one that could do no wrong. And yet I did wrong all the time. Well, I don't know where he got that, but that was his opinion of me.
Your older brother talking to his younger brother. It's perception, right? Perception is
Right.
reality. My boys would say the same thing about Grayson, and maybe there is truth to it because as parents get older and have more children, I feel like we learn from our mistakes and we make adjustments. And while we probably mostly parent the same way, there's going to be things that we choose to do a little better, maybe have a little more patience or use a little different language or a different punishment, whatever. Like I think there's like you learn like the first one, you didn't know what you were doing. Second one, like as time goes on, you're like, okay, there's no um directory here. Well, now I know that I can find a lot of the answers in the Bible, which I didn't really like. Maybe I did a little bit, but I'm just thinking like, far as like how to discipline a child, as far as I'm concerned, Tom and I, we did our best, but we struggled in areas, and we read books, and we listened to radio shows and parenting talks, and went to places where they had like, I don't even know what they would call it now, but like when Nick was in probably first grade, they had something at the school on parenting, whatever. And so we went, and it was maybe just a one-time thing, but we invested ourselves in things like that, but we were not perfect. We were far from it. And so we did our best. And I feel like that probably is true for all parents, whatever stage of life they're in with whatever child they're referring to. So being that you were number 4, yeah, they had a little experience by the time you came around. And again, the perception of your older siblings is different because they're seeing it from their lens, and you're younger, so your brain isn't as developed at the point of they're making this observation, like they think you're getting away with everything. But at the same time, I think maybe your parents had some lessons learned in the meantime, and they thought, we're going to do it a little bit different this time. It's probably mostly the same, but they probably
And
learned a few things.
and financially, I'm sure they were better off by the time I came around.
True.
So there could have been
Yeah,
added benefits for me because of that.
definitely. I feel like there's variables that we may not know all of what the variables are, but they all influence parenting.
I know that I felt that Aunt Sherry, got real special privileges. So
Hmm.
I had the same perception that
Yeah,
probably Jim had of me.
exactly. It's a trickle down effect.
Yeah.
And they probably felt the same way as well, being that she was the baby and a girl, you know. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So um and I know things were different then too with her. She she got to do a lot of stuff that we didn't, as the older siblings, we didn't get to do. But I think again, it was maybe they were just tired of dealing with kids. So let her go and do her thing. 'Cause she definitely did her thing. Um, I remember having to go and retrieve her from her friend's house to
hmm
bring her back home. She apparently had run away. I don't remember all the details. All I remember is my mother, or my dad saying, "Go get her."
Okay. And she would have
So
been a teenager, I'm assuming, at this point.
yeah, and I was probably married.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So what's your age difference?
7 years.
Okay. So you've already been enlisted into the army, and it's probably like the beginning or somewhere during the Vietnam War.
Probably. So,
So you went and got her, and how did that go down? Was she happy with you?
no, he was not happy, but I wasn't leaving without her, so I got her back home.
Well, she got you some experience for when your kids did things similar. Hmm.
Unfortunately, I did it right with you kids, but I only had 2 chances to do it. So um, now Shannon was definitely treated differently, I think.
Yeah.
She was, because she was the first girl baby in
In the whole family,
a long time. Yeah.
on the Tobin
Um,
side and the Crispin Manny
yeah.
side.
So yeah, she definitely got a lot of special treatment. And then you came along, was like, oh, this is old hat now.
I think I remember a story that even Shannon will tell, which is when she would be greeted by the family, that she would put her hand out for money or something. She
Yeah, it
got
was
used
just a
to
regular
sitting for.
thing.
Say that
Yeah,
again.
it was like a regular thing.
Hmm.
Here's a quarter or whatever, you know. So yeah,
Kind of like going to the electronic course at the grocery store. You put a quarter in and you get a ride. You want a hug? I want my money first. Pay up.
that's right. It's going to cost you.
That's funny.
Uh, hmm. I forgot where we were.
We were talking about
Um,
Aunt Sherry and how you were able to learn some parenting skills before you became a parent.
oh yeah, yeah. And even still, I had no idea what I was doing, but um, I know it was a whole lot different back then because uh, there were cloth diapers, and so
With pins, don't forget that.
yeah, with pins, we used to stick the pins in a bar of soap so it would slide through easier.
Oh, that was smart.
There,
Try not to get the baby.
exactly. Have your hand on the inside, so if anybody got it, it was you instead of the baby.
Wow. So we were raised, all both of us were raised in cloth diapers.
Yep.
I remember Aunt Vicky having cloth diapers with the younger ones, but I don't obviously remember being in cloth diapers. I just remember how she had a whole system, like rinsing them out in the toilet and then taking them down to the laundry. And it was like stages of getting things washed. And it was like a daily thing. Like it was a lot of work.
Yeah, several times daily.
Oh, really?
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, people don't even have to deal with that anymore.
Mm-mm.
And then I remember there was also a company that you could just fill up this hamper thing that they provided. They'd take them out and clean them and bring them back, and they whatever the charge was, I don't remember it. I don't know that they even used it, but
A laundry service for diapers
yeah,
only.
yeah. Um, can't remember the name of the company, but yeah. Um, what else was there way back then? Hmm. Do you remember almost getting hit? Did we bring this up before?
By
You
the
almost
mail
getting
lady.
run over by the postal carrier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think she really, it, she took her foot off the brake or something. She wasn't going fast. And I walked in front of the car. And I
Yeah.
think I fell down, but I didn't go under her car. And
Yeah.
I remember her feeling so mortified and putting her car in park and coming in the house because she was so upset. And I think you guys made me lay down and I was like, I'm fine, I'm fine. I mean, I probably cried at first because I was scared or something, but I don't think I was injured in any way. I think it startled me and yeah.
Yeah. That was terrible.
But
Do
everybody
you
was,
remember?
you were standing right there. I think both you and mom were standing right there. And so It wasn't just like a random drive by hit and run or anything like that. It was
No,
just so
no,
innocent.
but we had to tell her, "Stop," because she didn't even see you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't
had we
remember that
not
part.
said, "Stop," she'd probably run over you.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I
Now
didn't
it
realize how serious it was.
a
But
near
it was
death experience.
it was my fault. I do remember thinking I was always told to walk behind a car, not in front of a car. Oh, but it'll be fine because you were talking to her. I really felt like it was fine because you were in a conversation. She's not going anywhere. It was almost as if she was parked, but clearly she wasn't. So
Yeah. I don't know where you were going though.
I thought I was coming back home. Was I leaving to go across the street or something? Visit one of the neighbors?
I don't know.
I don't remember if I was coming or going, but I either was coming from the neighbors or I was going to the neighbors. But at any rate,
You remember spending time in the hospital because you had pneumonia?
I have bits and pieces of that memory. I feel like I can remember the nurse trying to put me in the tent incubator, whatever you call it. I don't think it's an incubator. What do you call it? Um, it was like a humid tent,
Yeah.
vaporizer tent or something, and I don't know why I felt like I did not want to be in there, but I think I fought with her. And I think I remember her thinking or saying out loud, like, wow, she's really strong or something like I was giving her a fight. And I don't think I was hurting her, but I was just resisting going in. So that's what I mean by fight. But um she won that fight,
Yeah.
obviously. I don't remember being sick. I don't remember the feeling of being sick with pneumonia, but I just remembered like that moment of I think that was like
Mm.
a stress.
Yeah, that was terrible. And back then you couldn't stay with your child.
Mhm.
So we're leaving you there and you're all upset as it is. And
Mhm.
that was rough on us too,
Yeah.
to see you behind bars because it was like bars for a bed.
Okay. Like a crib, I guess, right? They needed me
Yeah.
to be safe, so they
Yeah.
knew they could walk away if they had to safely. Patty's looking at me through the window. I hear whining and there's her face over there in the window outside. Oh. Oh, I learned something new yesterday and it made me think of you. I got a new mirror. I should show you it. I've had it for probably I don't know, 6 months, something like that. Whatever. I can't remember when Shannon was here, but I got it when she was here. And I actually got it off the marketplace yard sale for free. And it's a
Wow.
pure one mirror. And I painted it white, which I think I need to go do a little touch up, but it's kind of a big mirror and I really liked it. And I love that it was free. Like I actually messaged the guy that was getting rid of it and I said, "Is it really free? Like surely it's
Yeah.
not free. Like you're just saying it's free and we're going to talk about negotiations or something like that." And he said, "No, it's really free." I think he was going to put it at the curb and so he thought just try to get rid of it like before it goes to the landfill or whatever. So I bought it. I mean, I didn't buy it. I bought it with my gas money. Shannon went with me and ever since I've had it hung, I cannot seem to get the mirror part of it clean. And so I'll wash it and it will look good. And then I'll look at it again and I'll look at it and say, like, why is it so like smudgy? It just doesn't have a really crisp and clean look. And I've watched it so many times and nobody's touching it because it's in a spot where it really just isn't going to get touched. And so I saw a video where someone have you ever heard of this? I saw a video of someone who took a half of a potato and rubbed it on their mirror, everywhere on the mirror, this way and up and down and whatnot. And then they wiped it off and it came clean and it worked. I did that yesterday and it worked.
Wow.
I got it. I told
Who
Tom this
knew?
morning, I said, look at the mirror. It looks so good. It looks like dad was here.
Wow. I'd never heard anything like that.
This is my mirror. Can you see it?
Nice.
Yeah. So I feel like I need to touch up a couple spots like down here so you can see some of the dark color that it originally had coming through. But that's the best
That's
I've gotten
great.
that mirror to look since we got it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you gotta love a free thing. It only costs
Yeah.
time and gas. It was kind of an awkward exchange though, because the guy, I can't remember everything that happened. There was a couple weird things like in our communication, and then when I got to his place, he wouldn't answer the door. And I don't know if I think he may have been working remotely for his job. But whatever the case was, he didn't come to the front door, which is where I was knocking. And so then I'm leaving because I think he's not there now, even though we have been talking like continually since he said like I'll be here at this time, and I said okay, I'll be there. I'm leaving now. I'll be there in 40 minutes, whatever. Anyway, so now he's not answering, and I'm like, what's the deal? Like, is it a scam or am I at the wrong place or whatever? So I'm going back to my car to check my messages and make sure I'm at the right house. And the garage door opens. And I was at the right place, but then he invited me into his garage. And that felt really weird. And I only stepped in because I knew Shannon and Zachary were with me. And then he shook my hand. Like, he was I think he really was totally fine looking back on it. But when you don't know someone, you know what I mean? Like, it does feel a little bit awkward. And I think sometimes men don't realize, like, the etiquette, I guess, that should go with an exchange like this. Like, I should never be asked to come into a garage. And even women, I think, sometimes do things like that. But it's different when it's two women versus one. And so, anyways, then Shannon said something like, I can't remember if I think she brought it up, but anyways, there was some sort of a conversation on the way home where I think she said something like, there's people out there that are putting something on their hands and then it's transferring to the other person and it's like poisonous or something. And so she's like, from now on, you shouldn't shake hands with people. I think she said, like, maybe you should say, I only do a fist bump or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. But when I went into the garage, she got out of the car at that point because she was like being the mother hen, like sure everything was okay. And I did say, I'm like, I'm so glad you were here because that did feel kind of weird, but it turned out fine in the end. He did want to chat it up a little bit more than what I expected, but anyways, all that for a free mirror. But you do have to be careful because some people could say free and have bad intentions. Like, it's like, I have a piece of candy, get in my car and you can have it, or I have baby puppies in my car. So, anyways, I am very cautious, but I was really glad that they were with me that day.
Yeah, I used to hitchhike a lot.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't even think about it now.
I know.
No, it was a different time back then.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you would traditionally call this hitchhiking, but when we were in the Bahamas, we took a ride. It was our whole family. And let's see, Grayson would have been, I think, turning 8, and that would have made Nick like 18, 19, going on. He was probably 18, like just turned 18 because it was his graduation trip. And then that would have made Stephen about 14. So, anyways, whatever their ages were. We had gone off the beaten path, and we were riding the tour buses as far as they would go, but we were looking at maps and we were like, but we want to go over there, and the tour buses wouldn't go that far. So at that point we would either have to rent a car or walk or bikes or whatever, and we just literally got off the bus and started walking. And it was like a beachy area, and we just wanted to see something that wasn't so touristy. And there were some lighthouses and some things that were on a map, but they just weren't on the tour trail. And so we made it to this lighthouse, and we thought we were going to go to another beach, and we were talking to some of the locals, and they said, "Oh no, you do not want to go there." And they started telling us about pirates. Like there's
Wow.
real pirates still today, and they got to be a god thing. They discouraged us. Initially, I thought they were discouraging us because they didn't want us to go over there because it was more of a locals thing and that it was sacred to locals or whatever. Like it just wasn't meant to be a touristy place. But I really do think that they genuinely were telling us, like, it's not safe. Don't go over there because that's where the pirates will be if they are coming by. And I think I even laughed at first, but then I don't know, maybe Tom said, no, there really are pirates or whatever. Anyway, so we decided we were going to start our way back, but because we walked to where we were, we had to walk back to where we came from. And I don't remember how long we walked, but maybe it was a mile one way or something. But remember, it's the Bahamas and it's hot outside, and we're on foot and we're getting tired and we're probably low on water. And at one point, somebody pulled up and said, "You want to ride?" And so they weren't a taxi or anything like that, but they offered us a ride. And I don't even think they had all the normal seats that would have been in the vehicle. Like they probably at some point had seats, but they had pulled them out. So we were sitting on like the floor of a car.
Whoa.
And he drove us. Oh, I think we said take, so there was two hospitals that are on Nassau, and so one of them was part of the tourist route, and we knew that. And so we said, take us to the, I don't know the name of the hospital anymore, but there was one called Physicians Hospital and one called something else, and it may have just been the hospital. But I don't think it was the Physicians Hospital. We went to one of the hospitals though, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't the nicer one of the two. And so they dropped us off near that so that we could get back onto the buses that we had been previously on. And after we said yes, and we felt relieved for a minute, and then we get in and we're driving down the road, and I'm looking at the kids and I'm looking at Tom and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we're getting kidnapped? I didn't say it out loud, of course, but I'm thinking, like, we just got in a stranger's car. We don't
Yeah.
know these people from Adam. We're in another country and we're in our car. But he was very nice and he really had no ill will or bad intentions. And Tom gave him some money. And I think that's really what his expectation was, is just, I'm going this way anyways. I'll drop these people off and they'll give me some money. He probably did it before for tourists. I have no idea. It was a very brief encounter, but we got to where we needed to go. And the other thing that I remember about um, the hospital really wasn't part of the tour, but it was right next to a historical landmark. And I think it was like a canyon. I mean, not a canyon, a cannon, like for wartime. And I don't remember what else was there, but it was next to this hospital, close enough that we could see it. And so we were walking through and heading back towards that historical landmark. And I remember seeing this person who had just been discharged from the hospital, and they set him on the curb, and their head was wrapped in gauze like this. And then all this blood was coming through the front of the gauze. So, whatever they were being treated for, a head injury of some sort, they were put back out on the street, and they didn't even look like I mean, maybe they were fine, but there was blood. And I just kept thinking, like, they're not fine. But that is a good example of universal health care, what they have in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So you get, stitched up maybe and some bandage, and you're back out on the street.
Wow. Different.
Yeah, and I asked around because I'm like, "Well, why do you call the other one the physician's hospital?" And they're like, "Well, why do you think?" And I'm like, "I really don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm just like ignorant or what, but it's literally for the physicians." And so I didn't know that's why they called it physician's hospital, but that's what it was. And
Oh,
I
I
guess
would
it's
have guessed that it was owned by a bunch of physicians that are making money now, but
so I think also what I heard was it's anybody who has money because it was like a private pay hospital. So if you can't afford if you if you can afford to go to that hospital you to avoid the other hospital where they just put you back out on the street, something
um,
like that. So that was interesting. But we got to see a part of the Bahamas that some people don't normally see because I think what people think of when they go to the Bahamas is they see yes, they see some of the history, they see the beaches, they see the market, they get to experience, some of the restaurants with the different food and conch salad was a thing, everyone talked about. Excuse me. And I don't know, I just feel like when I go places, I don't want to see what we're supposed to see, what the world says we should see. Like I want to see them, but I want to know more. I want to understand like the culture a little bit more. And if you get off the beaten path, you can sometimes experience that. And so yeah, it was kind of neat going to that beach with the lighthouse where we met some of the old timers playing chess right in the middle of the beach area, like you see in the movies. And they were the ones they were like, "Yeah, no, you don't wanna go there." That's the ones that told us about the pirates. So
well, when we were on our cruise, we stopped in Venezuela. That was one
mhm.
of our stops, and they said specifically, do not leave your guided tour, whatever it is. Don't try to go off on your own because it's a dangerous place to be. And there's guerrillas, the
Yeah,
militia kind of guerrillas.
yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't even get off. Well, we did. We got off, but the port was right there, and they had shops and things. And I remember I ended up with buying a pair of shoes, leather shoes. It was like $25.
Mhm.
So, and they were handmade.
You still have them?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't wear them too often. They're just not all that comfortable, but
They
they're
get the
made
job
for
done.
summertime weather too.
Right.
But yeah, we didn't get off and do anything weird. In fact, when we were in Hawaii, um, there was an area where we felt uneasy, and one of the people with us said, "Oh yeah, there's a group over there of young thugs or whatever, and they don't like visitors to the island."
Oh
Yeah,
my.
so they said avoid them,
Okay.
but we did, and that's in Hawaii, and that's one of our states. So,
Exactly. Wow.
oh well.
Very interesting. Well, all right, Dad, I guess we better wrap it up. It was
Yeah,
so good
I gotta go
talking.
bowling.
Go knock some pins down
Yeah, I hope to. I haven't bowled for 2 weeks.
because
Or
of the weather, right?
yeah, last week it was the weather. The week before it was Suzanne she had a dental appointment, and so
Oh
we're down
yeah.
to one car, and that's yeah, we're down to one car, and I think we're doing okay without two vehicles, and
Mhm.
so we don't have to pay insurance on two vehicles. That's a
Is that what you're
saving.
gonna do? You're gonna just stay with a one-car household?
I think so, as long as we can. If it becomes a problem, then I'll probably pick up a beater or something.
I
In
think
fact,
that sounds like a good idea.
I wanted to buy Debbie Lee's truck. She's got a truck that belonged to her boyfriend slash fiance who passed away.
Mhm.
And it's it's about a 2001 or two or something. It's got a stick shift. It's just a cool little truck. So been trying to get it, but she's not ready to sell. I don't know if it's sentimental reasons or
Right.
just that she doesn't want to sell something that could fall apart. I don't know.
Gotcha. Well, at least you're
But
pretty handy.
yeah, but that's the only thing I would consider is something like that. Suzanne wants me to get a brand new truck, and no, not when they're 65, $75,000 for a truck.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we have a beater.
yeah, yeah. Beaters are fine.
I mean, it can be very reliable when it wants to be, but Tom says it's the apocalypse truck. All right. Well, good luck with all that. Have fun playing bowling. Is that how you say it? Or did you just say bowling, right?
Yeah, bowling. Yep.
Okay.
Go look up candlepin bowling
I'm going to. I gotta
on
check it
YouTube.
out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, and you'll see that the videos are old, like in the
The
70s.
1900s?
Yeah, as old as me.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
All righty.
Love you. Talk to you
I love you
soon.
too. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Okay.